Hello, welcome to Today in History. My name is Sotonye Afiesimam. So, as you know, it's the 20th of July. If you weren't sure, it's there on the screen. On this day, in 1866, the famous Buffalo Soldiers was established in the United States of America. I think Bob Marley sang about this guys as well. Buffalo Soldier, or something like that. Anyway, so 1866, Congress passed the Army Organization Act. So Congress meaning the United States Congress. The act authorized the creation of 4 new cavalry regiments, 2 which will be composed of African American troops. This was the historical beginning of the famed 9th and 10th Buffalo Soldier Cavalry regiments. These soldiers represented the military in the finest tradition of bravery and valor in Indian battles in the West, the Spanish-American War, maintaining the Mexican border neutrality laws, the Philippines, and with battles with Pancho Villa in the Mexican punitive expedition during 1916. So, punitive expedition, that phrase sounds familiar because we had such in Nigeria in the year 1895. So it's basically a revenge mission, punitive meaning punishment. So something must have happened from the Mexican side for the Buffalo Soldiers to be involved in a punitive expedition. Okay, so 1868, so 2 years later, 14th Amendment was ratified. And that's self-explanatory from the information there in the picture. So essentially, following its ratification by the necessary 3/4 of US states, the 14th Amendment, granting citizenship to all persons born or naturalized in the United States, including former enslaved people, is officially adopted into the US Constitution. Secretary of State William Seward issues a proclamation certifying the amendment. So that was on this day in 1868. In 1914, on this day, what was eventually to lead to the Great War, now known as the First World War, Austria-Hungary, pictured here, declare war on Serbia, beginning what was then, like I said earlier, known as the Great War. So that gives an idea where Austria-Hungary is located, or should I say was located, because Austria is now a separate country from Hungary. So at one point in history, 1914, they were one country. And you can see Serbia to the south of both countries, quite tiny in comparison. Okay, so we move on to the year 1929. On this day, this beautiful lady, Jacqueline Bouvier, who was to become Jacqueline Bouvier Kennedy, she's born on this day, so happy posthumous birthday, Jacqueline Bouvier Kennedy. We move on to the year 1935. This day, called the stalwart of Allied air power, the B17 bomber takes its maiden flight. It was dubbed the Behemoth meaning big beast, by a reporter. It's fitted out with multiple machine guns, also called the Flying Fortress. And within 10 years, the B-17 bomber will live up to that nickname, the Flying Fortress, with extensive service in the skies over Europe and the Pacific in World War II. So essentially, destroying lives and property. So that's the plane that took to the skies on this day, the B-17 bomber in 1935. Let's move on to the year 1945. So 10 years later, plane crashes into the Empire State Building. So it was a military aircraft, and apparently on that day it was foggy. So the people at the control tower at the airport where they were meant to land, the airport was, what's it called now? Anyway, one of the airports in New York, the people at the control tower asked the pilot to land in New Jersey, one of the airports in New Jersey. So they now started making their flight path towards the airport. Then they narrowly missed the building, and while they were avoiding that building, the plane hit the Empire State Building. 14 people lost their lives, 3 on the plane and 11 in the building. A lady miraculously escaped when the engine of the plane landed on top of the shaft of the lift in which she was traveling on. This was a Saturday as well, so there would have been more fatalities. Most people were at home. So sadly, 14 people lost their lives on this day. So just going to show you a few more pictures of the damage that was done. Okay, we move on to the year 1976. On this day, one of the worst earthquakes in modern history destroys the Chinese city of Tangshan. It occurred at 3:42 a.m. and measured between 7.8 and 8.2 magnitude on the Richter scale. Tangshan, which is pictured here, was flattened. So this is a rebuilt Tangshan. I'm going to show you pictures of what it used to look like, or what it looked like when the earthquake, just after the earthquake struck. So almost everyone was asleep in their beds instead of outside in the relative safety of the streets. The quake was especially costly in terms of human life. An estimated 242,000 people in Tangshan and surrounding areas were killed, making the earthquake one of the deadliest in recorded history, surpassed only by the 300,000 who died in Calcutta in 1737. So there was an earthquake in Calcutta as well in 1737, and the 830,000 thought to have perished in China's Shaanxi province in 1556. So these are pictures of the earthquake in 1976. Just after the aftermath of the earthquake, you can see pretty much the whole city flattened. In the foreground, a few minutes after the earthquake, that picture was taken, and then that's in the background what Tangshan looks like today. So more pictures of the modern day Tangshan. Okay, there is a picture, a map. Okay, that's another one, and another one, and then the map is coming up very soon. Just to show you where Tangshan is, that's it there, in relation to the rest of China. Okay, apparently that's an earthquake zone. Tectonic plates, those of you who know more about this would know why that zone is earthquake prone. Okay, let's get on to the year 2005. On this day, the United Kingdom experienced its most costly tornado to date, and it caused £14 million worth of damage to Birmingham. So this is the city of Birmingham in the United Kingdom, not Birmingham, Alabama, United States. This is United Kingdom's Birmingham, the original Birmingham, I might add. So that was what happened on this day in 2005. Thankfully, there were no fatalities. On that note, we'll end today's Today in History. Thanks for joining me. Hope to see you tomorrow for another edition of Today in History for the 29th of July. My name again is Sotonye Afiesimama. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video and consider subscribing as well so you receive updates of my video uploads. Thanks again, guys. Stay safe. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.